Some more updates and rumors have been going around regarding Edge's removal from the Judgment Day, so we'll see what's going on there. We'll also see what's going on with CM Punk and AEW, as well as a new teaser from Bayley. Let's start things off with Edge and the Judgment Day. A lot of fans are still trying to comprehend that shocking twist that we saw earlier in the week with Judgment Day. What Judgment Day did to Edge is probably the most unexpected betrayal and breakup in WWE since The Fiend and Alexa Bliss. No one saw those breakups coming in both instances. The most confusing part about the Edge and Judgment Day situation is that everyone expected it to be around for the long haul. Remember that Judgment Day was barely 2 months old when the whole betrayal with Edge happened. Everyone thought that Edge was heavily invested in this new heel persona, this new faction, and was going to take over Raw with Rhea and Priest by his side. The Finn Balor and Judgment Day rumors have been circulating for a long time now, so the addition of Balor into the group wasn't a big surprise per se, but the removal of Edge from his own creation before they can even get started was a big surprise. Initially, the reports all said that fans were saying that Edge's sudden removal was likely a result of Cody Rhodes' injury and needing someone to fill that main babyface role on Raw. But there's been several new reports coming out in the days following Raw that are telling another story. One report came out after Raw says that WWE had serious plans to crank up the supernatural levels of the Judgment Day. We've seen flashes of supernatural abilities from the Judgment Day over the past 2 months. Little things like when Damian Priest kneeled down in the middle of the ring and vanished when the lights came on, or when Edge and Priest appeared out of nowhere in AJ Styles' locker room and had the lights flickering. So it wasn't anything too heavy, but you can definitely get the Undertaker and Bray Wyatt sort of supernatural vibes from those moments. But besides those few instances, there wasn't anything too out of the ordinary with the Judgment Day. And like we always talk about when it comes to supernatural characters and storylines, they have the potential to be some of the most intriguing parts of the show if done right. But if done wrong, then yeah, it could definitely come off as a bit too goofy. So the reports claim that WWE had a very supernatural future plan for the Judgment Day that allegedly Edge wasn't too excited and thrilled about. The reports claim that Edge himself requested his removal from Judgment Day over not being a fan of this direction for them, and that's what led to the decision of having him and Finn Balor basically switch places. It gets Edge out of the group while technically letting the group continue under new leadership. But another report followed that one up and accused it of being a false rumor planted by WWE to generate more conversation around Edge and the Judgment Day. That report said that WWE loves to get fans talking and discussing. So some of these Edge and Judgment Day stories that are out there could potentially be some rumors from WWE themselves. So there's currently no evidence or proof that Edge was legitimately unhappy with Judgment Day's direction. But that's what one of the reports is claiming. It was something that fans were talking about long before Hell in a Cell. Everyone felt like Judgment Day didn't really have a clear story, motive, or direction, and that was something we went over a few times. So now, the keys get handed to Finn Balor, which in theory is a great idea. Finn's babyface persona and direction had grown a bit stale and wasn't going anywhere. So this heel turn allows the character to get more deep and show a new side of him. Not to mention that Finn Balor made quite the big impression with this heel turn. Finn turned Edge's own people against him, kicked Edge out of the group, and took control of Judgment Day. So from Finn's perspective, that's brutal and a great start to his first ever main roster heel run. Finn has an opportunity now to really become character driven and add a lot to his character with this new position of being Judgment Day's leader. Fans have expressed even more worry for the future of Judgment Day now that Edge is gone from the group. It's no secret that factions can get off track sometimes, lose focus, and just get broken up for no good reason. But everyone felt that Judgment Day was safe from that happening because they had a legend like Edge as a member. But with Edge no longer being included in this group, is Judgment Day now extremely vulnerable to being forgotten about and eventually broken up? That's one concern fans seriously have, so we'll have to keep our close eye on Judgment Day now that Edge is gone. When CM Punk announced his injury and now he needed surgery, everyone thought it was common sense that he would relinquish the AEW World title. But there was some instant confusion when word started getting around that CM Punk did not relinquish the title. Chris Jericho had said that Punk relinquished the title, but he came back later on to correct himself and apologize for his comment, because Punk did not in fact relinquish the title. CM Punk recently appeared on AEW's Road 2 series and cleared up what's going on. He had this to say, quote, "I wasn't as clear as I should have been. I offered to relinquish the title, and Tony told me that under no circumstances was I allowed to do that. It means a lot to me that this place believes in me enough to let me go get fixed." End quote. So AEW's plan is to now crown an interim AEW World Champion. So under technicality, CM Punk is still the World Champion. Whoever becomes the interim AEW World Champion will basically just be a temporary champion until CM Punk is healthy. AEW hasn't really explained what will happen when CM Punk is healthy, but we're to assume that the temporary champion will have to hand the title to CM Punk. But on the bright side, maybe that individual will be the first in line to challenge CM Punk for the title. It's only right for the interim AEW World Champion to go one-on-one with CM Punk to crown one true champion. So that may be the endgame once CM Punk is healthy, but for now, this interim champion will keep the title warm for CM Punk. There's currently no timetable or details for CM Punk's injury. All anyone knows is that he needs surgery, so any kind of surgery isn't a good thing, and it may cause him to miss some months of action at least. So whoever the interim champion turns out to be, they may have several months as champion until CM Punk eventually returns. Bayley has been out of action since July 2021 with a torn ACL injury. The average recovery time around that injury is 9 months, which Bayley has already passed, and July will be a full year, 12 months into her recovery. Not much is known about Bayley's status and her return, but fans assume that Bayley's knee must be fully healed by now. She most likely is just waiting for WWE creative to write her back onto television. Bayley has been constantly trolling fans about her return since January and hasn't stopped ever since. Bayley recently took to Twitter to post a picture of a wrestling boot, of course implying the idea that she'll be lacing up her boots real soon. She didn't provide any other context besides the picture, didn't even add a caption, but it was enough to get the fans excited about her return that could sometime happen this summer or maybe into the fall. So be on the lookout for Bayley's huge comeback and for her to have her first match in front of fans since early 2020. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.